Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, guten Abend, good evening, buonasera, buenas noches, konnichiwa, xin chao, ni hao, annyeong, dobry wieczór, dobry wieczór. Yo estate kovanok, yo estate kovanok, something like this, is good evening for in Hungarian, by the way. Xin chao is Vietnamese, ni hao is Chinese, konnichiwa is Japanese, and I've got all those other languages prepared as well. But anyway, it is semi-final. It is Beastie against Pomi. We just saw Pomi winning 2-1 in a PVZ best of 3 series against Nurture, and now he's playing against Beastie. Beastie was able to win against Sane in the quarterfinals. This is the GSL. No, this is CraftCup number 27. The prize pool tonight is $50, and the winner of tonight's CraftCup will be able to go to the King of the Month tournament. It is a $500 tournament. With the winner of each week from this January month, and so Naniwa qualified, Streetlock qualified already. So we got a Protoss player, we got a Terran player, and maybe one of those two guys will be able to win tonight's Craft Cup and advance to the King of the Month finals as well. We are in cross positions. We have Pomi spawning as the yellow, Protoss in the bottom left position. We have as a teal Terran, Beastie at the top right position. So if you take a look at the pure Craft Cup history, of the pure tournament history, of the pure, what is it called? The pure, wait for it, ladder statistics, Beastie of course is the favorite to win this this series, but I already casted 2 games of Pomi, a PvP against Joe and a PvZ best of 3 series against Nurture, so those 2 guys are really good, and Pomi won against them, so Pomi is absolutely someone Beastie has to be prepared for. So the cybernetic score for Pomi just finished. Second gate is en route as well for him. Zealot just got out, and of course Zealot can do some damage in the early stages of the game, but Beastie just needs 3 Marines to absolutely destroy Zealot here, and good job by Beastie to hide this SCV here behind those 2 Vespene guys, so he will be able to get in the base maybe once again in the later stages of the game. So 3rd Marine is out there for Beastie, getting another supply depot there, and there we see a factory is coming up, 2nd refinery going up for him, and I'm really curious if either of 2 players will go for some sort of fast expansion play. Now Pomi is checking the Xelnaga Watchtower, nothing too special going on here, and Beastie on the other hand is going for the factory, building a Hellion right now. There we see the starport is en route as well. Of course, as soon as the starport is finished, Beastie still can get a what is it? A tech lab on the factory, and can do a switch with the starport before the starport is finished just in time, and there we see the tech lab on the factory, and as soon as this starport is finished, the factory should finish with the tech lab as well. And there we see the fast expansion coming up by Pomi, so Pomi's Nexus is already 43% done, so he went for 2 gate into expand, and there we see the warp gate technology is finished in 5 seconds, so he's got his warp gates finished there too. Now going for the robo facility, and so he's got 2 gates and a robo. Robo is already halfway done, but Beastie wants to expand himself because of building a bunker here at the front of the ramp. The natural expansion always is an indicator for some sort of expanding play, but he just salvaged his bunker. Of course, I knew that. Just was testing everybody out there. And yeah, because we see a Banshee is not what we see, because it is a Raven. Actually, I mixed those 2 guys up, and yes, so a Raven is in production. Maybe Beastie wants to go for his 1 base timing pushes. I did see him doing this quite a lot, and especially against a Protoss player who goes for some sort of fast expansion. A Banshee, Raven, Marine, tank, SCV timing push by Beasty in a TVP is quite effective, is quite successful. When I'm playing as Protoss, I still have my problems with Terrans doing a push like this. So now we're waiting if Beasty actually decides to go for a Banshee, and yes, indeed, it is a Banshee. Just waited for his 100 gas to stack up, and as soon as he got the 100 gas, he was able to get this Banshee out. So we see a siege tank is out, another siege tank will be out pretty soon. The siege mode is en route as well. So, and now Beasty decided not to go for this run-based timing push, but he decides to go for the expansion. Of course, the expansion of Beasty will be delayed quite a bit compared to the expansion of Pomi. On the other hand, his army composition is so good that he might be moving out to apply a lot of pressure, and now the Observer and the Raven missing each other. So on the other hand, the Observer just saw the tanks and the Marines, but the Raven was just not spotted there. Hellion moving out here to the Zelnaga Watchtower, getting rid of a pro. There's no unit at the southern Zelnaga Watchtower, and the Observer, of course, is following those units here by Beasty. Where's the Raven currently? There it is. So the Raven is not aware of this Observer, and the Observer, on the other hand, is not aware of the Raven, but the Observer is very well aware of the Banshee. And now the question, of course, is how much damage will be Beasty able to do, because he needs to do quite some damage to come back in terms of economy. Now the Raven spotted the Observer, some Marines were attacking the Observer as well, and now it is time for us to enable the sound, to enable the music as well, and we see 3 bunkers being built up, and this is a GSR. This just fits, you just can say it every time, everywhere. So if you're watching some TV, if you're having a telephone call, just say this is a GSR. It just works perfectly fine. And so all those 3 bunkers are finished, and with those 3 bunkers in place, Beasty might be able to do quite some damage here. Of course, assuming that he will make use of his siege tanks as well. And where is the Raven by Beasty? I have no idea. Here it is, and there are the 2 Banshees, and now the Banshees and the Raven providing the vision. Meanwhile, the first Colossus for Pomi is out. He's got the range 6 on the Colossus only, and now Beasty needs to carefully readjust his siege tank. All those SCVs having a sieger right now. Do they have auto repair activated? No, they do not. Once again, trying to get rid of this Observer. And now he's going for a small counter-attack with 4 Zealots. Does Beasty have any units here? He's got a siege tank in his base. Now there are the Stalkers attacking. Meanwhile, yes, the tanks sieging up here on the assimilator. And Beasty is running away with his SCVs. He's got 2 Marauders. He's got a siege tank out, so he should be able to have no problems getting rid of those Stalkers. Stalkers trying to get rid of the siege tank, and siege tank survives with 17 HP, and all the Stalkers are dead, so only lost 3 or 4 SCVs, no big deal for Beasty. So siege tanks continuing with the siege here on the Nexus. What is Beasty doing and Pomi doing? He's got quite a lot of Colossi, 2 Colossi, quite a lot of gate units, and there we see some hallucinated Archons. Of course, those Archons die pretty fast to the bunkers, but of course it's buying themselves a little bit time. Do we see a pointy French drone here? Yes, there's the pointy French drone, and all those forces in the bunker do quite some damage. Meanwhile, the siege tank here in the backs is doing some damage as well, but in the end it will just be not enough for Beasty, and Pomi even might be able to take the first game right here, right now. Beasty tries to run away with his remaining Marines. He is running away with his Banshees. Looks like Beasty was forced to use his Banshees to clear up this attack in his main base, but it were only 4 Stalkers actually. So because of those Banshees not being in the right position, this might be another reason why Beasty lost this battle here so hard. Even though he had 3 siege tanks, he had a pointy fence drone, he had 3 bunkers, he had 3 SCVs repairing stuff. In the end, Pomi just had more DPS, more gateway units, and now there are 2 siege tanks and 3 Banshees, and what can they do? And those Banshees just need to get rid of the Stalkers, because the Sentries, yes, of course, they don't do that good against those units, and with this nice mass repairing action, Beasty was able to stay in the game. Does he even go for some kind of cloak on the starport on the Banshees? No, he does not. He now decides to go for the engineering bay, bringing some more SCVs down here, 7 in total, building more supply depots and queuing up more Banshees, building more Banshees. So Beasty currently is having how many Banshees on the open field right now? So 4 Banshees, a 5th Banshee is still in production, more SCVs, more tanks, more of everything else. On the other hand, Pomi, with this ability to get rid of this contain, to do some damage here in the main base of Beasty, even though he lost the Colossus in this situation, he was able to expand once again. So now we see his Nexus is finished here at the center location on the left side. 2 assimilators finished already as well. Pomi not only going for the blink in the Twilight Council here, he is also going for the Templar Archives. He's currently warping in the Templar Archives, warping in the cannon, in the mineral line as well. So nice tech choices, even though I don't like this positioning of the Templar Archives here by Pomi, because if there's once again be some fast Marauder dropping, and assuming the army positioning of Pomi should just not be in place. Templar Archives goes down, 500 HP and 500 shields is not much against a shitload of Banshees, for example, or a shitload. And by the way, some Banshees try to do some harassment here. Nice defense, by the way, by Pomi with the Blinkstalkers. Of course, Blinkstalkers are a very good talent, quote ends, to have against those Banshees. We take a look at the unit count in total, and actually I was not paying enough attention because BC just lost not only one Banshee, but he lost 4 Banshees in total. Now Beasty is moving out. He's got quite an impressive Marauder force. Pomi is aware of this with this observer. Beasty currently not having a Raven in this army composition, not having a Raven en route. He's now getting the +1. Meanwhile, Pomi, on the other hand, he is so much ahead in terms of technology. Psionic Storm, the charge is in research. He's got 3 more gates en route, so he will have 9 gates in total very soon. And there is Pomi. What is he doing? Is he going for a counter attack? This time he has a real Archon, not a hallucinated one. He's got the Zealots, he's got the Stalkers, he's got 1 Immortal, and Beasty is just securing himself, and Beasty is aware of all those forces here by Pomi. Is he moving out with his Marauders, his Marines? I mean, those siege tanks will kill all those Nexus, all those units mining here, and he will kill this Nexus. But now counter-attack by Pomi, and I think this might actually be it, even though Pomi is only ahead 10 supply, being in the main base here, just killing so much stuff. Those 2 siege tanks and the 3 Marauders won't help him much either. There is the Observer providing even more vision, providing help against cloaked units as well, but this is basically it. I mean, the only thing Beasty can do now is go for a desperation counter-attack or move in his own base. He's moving in his own base, but there's the force field on the ramp. Tanks are now sieged up. Beasty's got another command center here, but all those Stalkers, all the Archons, and the Zealots in the main base, and Beasty looks like he even didn't kill this Nexus. He was deciding to move away with all of his units. And now Pomi's doing something really interesting. He's getting rid of the destructible rocks because he now knows counter-attack is imminent. He wants to move out, but now he decides to fight the Archon. Will do quite a lot of damage against all those SCVs clumped up together, but in the end Beasty will clear this army up. He realizes, okay, no need for SCVs anymore. I can just kill everything else. So it is time for us to take a look at the supply, and surprisingly enough, I thought this game was over. But we take a look at the supply. Pomi is only ahead for supply. We take a look at the harvester count. We see Pomi is ahead in harvesters quite a lot. 19 harvesters ahead, and having for about the same amount of supplies means that the army size is currently a little bit bigger for Beasty even. So Beasty's got the stim pack finished, and there are the High Templars, and the High Templar were just spotted by Beasty, and the Charge Zealots, of course, in addition to the High Templars, are a good unit to have. Some nice Psionic Storms were casted, of course. The Charge Zealots having no problems at all getting rid of the siege tanks. More Archons being robbed in because all those High Templars are out of energy, and I think now it should be it. Pomi is now in a 40 supply lead, 50 supply lead nearly, and there we see the GG. So, Pomi taking the first game in this best of 3. Beasty needs to win the next 2 matches. On the other hand, Pomi needs to win 2 more matches. So, good job by him, and